Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Jacob, and in this video we are going to be making an AJAX page loader. Meaning, we click on a link, and JavaScript loads the page and just fills in the appropriate content, and we don't load any of the extra overhead like loading the style sheets again, loading the header, loading the footer, the navigation bar, all that. So, and it'll look like this. You are on the contact page and you press the about page and it'll load, and then there you go, there's the about page. Press the home page and there you go, and it's all done with JavaScript. So let's get started. Okay, so to start off, I have these 5 PHP files: header.php, footer.php, index.php, and then about and contact. And these two aren't really necessary, they're just to demonstrate that the back and forward and page loading functionality actually works. Then we have pageload.js and some CSS. Actually, it's just one CSS file, but yeah. Okay, so in index.php, we're going to be including header and footer, and then depending on whether or not we detect that JavaScript requested the page, depending on whether or not JavaScript requested the page, then we will not serve the header and footer, or not include those, because it'll be less overhead. Anyways, so we'll include header.php and include footer.php, and then content will go between these two here. So we'll just say something like, whoop, that works. Okay, some lorem ipsum, and then like a lot of them. So, okay, that's not nearly enough. There, now we have just a ton of lorem ipsum on this page, and header.php and footer.php are empty, as you can see here and here. They're empty, but we're gonna fix that now. So we'll say, set up this whole thing. This title, we're going to do something in PHP up here, and we'll say page title equals like website or something, and then here we'll say page title. Okay, this is going to go in footer.php. Okay, and now if we refresh, it says website here if we view the source. That looks fine. That's from the header and that's from the footer. Perfect. Okay. Now we're going to add our navigation bar of links. So like this. That's just going to be home. About. And this is going to be contact. So now I have a little pseudo navigation bar, and we'll open a main tag there and close it in the footer. And of course, you know, why not add a footer too? There we go. There's the basics of this page. Okay, I'm going to, okay, actually, right here, this page title thing, to make it easier on ourselves, kind of, we're going to say if not is set page title, then set it equal to website. But otherwise it's already been set, like we're going to do right here, and say page title equals main page. So now that says main page. And then if we just copy and paste this over to the contact.php, but change this to contact page, and similar thing here for the about page. Okay. And let's add some internal links. Well, internal is in like inside of this section of the page. So not in the nav bar, not in header, and not in footer. So I'll say, actually, put them like right here. And I suppose you can just copy the links out from here. And put them each in here as well. Alright, now our main page has these 3 links, our about page has these 3 links, and our contact page has these 3 links. And let's add a header to each of them, so we can figure out exactly where we are. Main page, contact page, and about page. Now that's our contact page, about page, contact page, main page. All right. Now let's get started with the JavaScript. So basically what we want to happen is when we click on any of these links, click on any of the links. So say I click on the home link, then we're going to load with an XMLHttp request. We're going to load the content of this URL and pop it into this main element here. Or same thing for if we click any of the other links. So what we're going to have to start out doing is say, well, we're going to have a function called attach link click handlers, and that's going to select all links. Document.query selector all A, and I could select them by tag name, but we only want to load internal links. So like if I had a link to Google or something like that, we can't have an XMLHttp request go after google.com because that would violate the cross-origin request policy or whatever it's called that would allow for malicious scripting and stuff. So it makes your website safer that you can't do it. So we want to make sure we're only selecting links that are internal. And we can do this by using an attribute selector. Actually, I'm going to say a not, and then attribute href does not begin with HTTP, and that'll cover HTTP and HTTPS URLs. So basically this is selecting all links that'll link to other parts of the website. And then links for each link. Then we're going to attach a click handler. No, I did square brackets. Okay. And in here, we're going to, well, first of all, we have to make sure that the browser doesn't follow the link by itself. So e.prevent default alt and return false. So now all these links, of course, I forgot to include the JavaScript. We're writing JavaScript and it's not even running. Now, click, oh my goodness. What's going on? Right, we're not calling attached link handler, click handlers, because I'm so absent-minded today. Attach link click handlers. There we go. Now clicking on the links does absolutely nothing. Just what we wanted. Right? Well, sort of. We want to fire off an XMLHttp request here. So we'll say let XHR equal new XMLHttp request, and on ready state change, all this fun stuff. Why do I keep doing that? If xhr.readyState equals 4, then we'll do some stuff there, and xhr open, what URL? Link.href, that URL. Oh, actually, duh, the first one is the method, and then link.href, and yes, we want it to be asynchronous. Alright, and then send that, and then up here, once it's loaded, we're going to say, we're going to pop the response that we got from the XHR into the main element, this one right here. So we should probably select that up here. Pop that into a variable, main document, query selector, body main. Okay, and then main.inner HTML equals xhr.response text. Okay, let's hope that works. Oh yeah, it works. Kind of. Of course, we're still loading this whole header thing here, and this whole footer. So we're kind of doing what we wanted, but not really. Also, if I click on this link, it reloads the whole page and loads the contact page again. So, well, we have progress. First, let's get rid of this extra header here and the extra footer here. Well, actually, this is the extra footer. So, whenever we make an XML HTTP request, we have to somehow tell the server that it's being made by JavaScript. And yes, there are ways to detect that using some fancy PHP trick, but we're going to make it really easy on ourselves and just set a request header. And that'll be content only. And I'll just set it to 1 for true. And so in the PHP, we'll check and see if we got a request header saying we want just the content and not the header and the footer. And if so, then we won't serve the header and the footer. Alternatively, we could append like a query string here and say like plus content only. And that's really easy to detect. But the problem would be if the link had a query string already attached to it, then, well, you have to get into URL parsing, and that's just too much. So, too complicated. This is easier, cleaner, kind of. So in header.php, we'll check the request headers and see if they requested just the content of the page.